And hello, everyone. Welcome back to Valanth League. We are here for season 15, split one of Valanth League. I am NerfWaluigi, by the way. I am joined by recent winner of last split, Div 2, I think, Joseph Armando. Hello.
Wah! That's me. Yep, Division 2 winner with White Rose. You were actually commentating that series, weren't you?
Yeah, indeed. I was there. I saw you sadly destroy Frostbite, but
so you go from commentating about me to commentating with me.
yes, it's a nice change of pace. So yeah, we are back for the new season. Ready. Big changes have been made to the game, and it's interesting to see how at this level they are going to cope with it. Of course, with Atakan, see how the heroic feats are going to be impacting these games. And of course, also the battles, how much of a focus is going to be on those. Because in my experience, they do actually give a lot of experience. So, what do you think? Do you think it's smart for them to really focus on the Blood Rose?
The Blood Rose was such an issue, actually, that they've decided to nerf it slightly. I believe it's gone down to 23 experience compared to the 25 it does give. It's always a very good way for teams to try and get ahead in a different way as well. You know, I have already seen teams that are down 5k gold leads where they just turtle up, they defend, and they try and get whatever blood roses they can, along with trying to get some gold, and it does slowly bring them back into the game. It is a very smart and good thing that I think is honestly quite healthy for the game.
I found them fun. It's a nice little mini game you get in the game. So yeah, I think it's nice. It's interesting to see, of course, whether the teams here will actually focus on them a lot, or whether they're just going to leave them be a lot more and just try to focus on playing this game. So of course we saw last game, and I do definitely think that, of course, this worked, and in VL it's a proven strategy. So it's interesting to see whether the teams are going to have been able to adapt already, or whether perhaps they're just going to try to start with the old strategies, and perhaps throughout the season slowly merge more into these more Atakan focused comps, where they really focus on getting Atakan. Because in my experience, that if we see a Voracious Atakan, the buff generally is incredibly strong. What do you feel?
Atakan is definitely a very interesting one. I do believe they've actually buffed the amount of gold you get when you kill someone who is actually with that buff. It used to be 100. I believe it's gone up to 200. I don't know if that's officially in the game at this point in time, or if it's something that is coming up, but it's still something which is, in my opinion, a good idea to have. Whilst it still allows the one team to be aggressive, it does give a bit more consequences if you do mess it up slightly. When it comes to teams like this as well, that are on the lower side of of the ranking. I believe the highest rank here is Platinum 4, which is decent. How are they going to work around the Atakan? Because even now, after, like a good month or so of Atakan being out, so many people still underestimate just how damaging Atakan is, and just how badly the game can flip if you mess up trying to kill Atakan.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Another thing I am interested in is, of course, if we look at pro play, then when Voracious Atkan is, of course, slain, you get the withdrawing buff, and they are often just able to force a fight. And I'm also really interested to see whether these teams are going to be able to get one of those good fights where they just really use the buff and abuse the buff, and essentially lose the fight 3-4-5, but at the end still have 5 members right on the map again. Or whether what we do sometimes see in Valanth League is a single player slightly overstepping from time to time and then just losing the buff in perhaps a slightly silly way. So it will be interesting to see whether they can actually use the outcome buff, if perhaps it is stolen in a good way, or whether it's, I wouldn't necessarily say thrown away, but it is lost in perhaps a bit of a silly way for some of their members, which of course causes it to lose a little bit of power. So very interesting to see. Of course, going to some of the players we're going to be seeing today. For those who don't know, as I think I have forgotten to mention it at the start of the stream, we are looking at Frostbite Titans versus MonkeSports Rifterz. So 2 teams, MonkeSport in VL Div 4. So not really something that we look at more often. 2 fairly new teams, I think. Titans, of course, were around last season, but there have been changes made. And since I never really looked at Div 4 last season around, I don't know whether MonkeSports have gone through many changes. But of course, we have had quite a good off-season of a month. There could have been some changes. What are some things that you have found when you were scouting the teams ahead of the game?
Not too much. When it comes to both sides, there seem to be some players that are playing out of the position which that they're used to. Towie, I believe, was more of a top laner. He's now gone down to ADC. Cliff, who is now called Inting Jungler in this, was primarily a support player. He's now in he's now in the top lane itself. I'm going to be calling him Mr. Int from this point forward, because I'm going to forget he's Cliff, and just saying Inting Jungler just feels a bit bad. So Mr. Int it shall be. When it comes to some of the players, with what I've seen here, funnily enough, both junglers play quite a lot of Master Yi. I don't think they're going to be playing it when it comes to these 5v5 competitive games, but it's still quite funny to think about potentially one of those players coming out with the Master Yi. What else have I seen here? One of the mid laners, Auspo. That's it, Auspo for Frostbite. If you look at his solo queue list, it's literally Orianna, multiple Oriannas. You didn't have a single Telia, and then 11 more Oriannas.
Yes, I think. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, you can continue, but we are in draft. I think we already looked at
we are in
some
draft?
of this. Yeah, we are in draft. We slightly missed it when we were looking through things.
Cool.
Bans have already gone through. He has not been banned, so it will be interesting
to see. Orianna, that's what I was expecting.
Yes, as we see the Divide picked up, also Varus being banned away, something that the ADC for, not Frostbite, but for MonkeSports really likes. So, there, and also Yasuo and Lux. I don't think, maybe they're just general bans that they think are strong right now, as they're not really picks that jump out for me. So yeah, I think perhaps also some bans on both sides where they just don't really want to play against. It's also the smaller and the Nyla, not really the picks that we see more consistently. Jhin.
Towie has been playing quite a bit with Smolder recently, so that's the reason why they've done that. The Orianna, obviously for Auspo, Towie had a really good set of scores on the Nyla as well, so they're really trying to weaken the mid and ADC. And when it comes to the Yasuo, Neofire has a lot of mastery on that champion. And then, of course, Lux and Varus, just very good pokey bot laners. With what I've been seeing recently, as it is, Jhin coming out on one side, fine. With what I've been seeing bot side, you want to have something which is very good early going into late. So you're looking at Corki, Varus, Jhin, Caitlyn. that sort of style when it comes to ADCs. I was in the All-Star tournament. I pretty much only play scaling ADCs, and it was rough. This season has really started to try and make me play differently. However, speaking of scaling ADCs, I wanted to go with the Jinx.
Yes, it was something I also want to say directly. I say, Jinx not the strongest early game. Of course, can have some decent early fights, but especially against the Jhin, will just lose it. So interesting to see if they can get this Jinx to work. But of course, if you have a Vi Ahri, the moment that both of them hit level 6, you will have an incredibly strong pick on that side. So it's just I think some good old fashioned VL picks. As I mean, I think Deadly Ghost and also quite like the champions themselves, but it is just a really, really good combination. As we do see the Nami anti Maokai being banned away, so some picks being taken away from Duskblade. Quite interesting, as also the Yorick and the Warwick are taken away, as those are just some specific picks, especially for the top laner that quite like season. I think overall, maybe not necessarily strongest picks in VL, in my opinion. Of course, a bit solo heavy, but if you want to take somebody off of their strong solo picks, it's always worth it, as Cho'Gath is now being picked up.
Yes, Cho'Gath for the Monkey side. I have been looking at Haki's win rates and whatnot. Haki has played 5 games of Cho'Gath this split, and he's won every single one. So, most likely just trying to keep him on something he knows he can work well with. Got pushing into that. I don't remember if I've seen Mr. In play Got. I know he had some Warwick games, some Dr. Mundo games. I don't know about the Urgot, I can't remember that. But yeah, as you were saying, Vi Ahri, very, very good mid-jungle. Both of the jungle and mid-side for Frostbite have also been playing it into a queue as well. That is very, very simple and just really good for Jinx with the Nautilus.
Yes,
with what I'm seeing, Duskblade plays a lot of Nautilus. It's one of his most played champions, so it's good comfort for him. It's also something that works really well with the Jinx as well. Jhin Rel, fascinating. I would have expected something a bit more pokey with the Jhin, but if you're wanting to go more for the team fights, Rel is a lot better for that.
Yes, definitely. I mean, one thing I do, of course, I think an interesting choice that MonkeSports made here was to leave the counter pick to the support, essentially. As well, of course, when you're a red side, you get one free counter pick, and they decided to give it to the support. I don't know whether Rel is the right decision here. I'm not 100% certain from the match into Nautilus. I think in my opinion, I'd say it's fairly even between the two. So I'm not sure about this counter pick, especially since they gave this counter pick in top with the Oracles into the Cho'Gath. So I'm interested to see how this Rel will work. Of course, it is just a strong champion right now, really strong on those team fights. Of course, if you have a Wukong on it, then you can just get even more value out of those Magnet Storms. But I think it's interesting to see whether in lane, especially, this Rel can have a nice synergy with the Jhin.
Just having a quick look at counters and whatnot. If you're looking at Emerald Plus, Rel has a really good win rate against Nautilus. You're looking at 57%. Around Master Plus, it goes down to 52, but still, it is Rel favored in a sense. When it comes to lane, I don't think there'll be much in terms of fighting. Maybe the Rel tries to go in, Jhin tries to land a W, although Nautilus can try and stop that quite effectively. However, when it comes to team fighting, I do believe the Rel can do more. In general, Nautilus is very, very good at locking one person down. He's really good at that. The Rel can bring a whole bunch of people together, make it a lot easier for this Wukong, for the Silas, and even this Cho'Gath to just run in and cause havoc. You look at the side of Frostbite, you're looking at people with lots of good single target. Vi, Ahri, Nautilus, even Urgot with his ultimate.
Yes,
it's a very fascinating difference between the two teams. When it comes to team fight, I do think Monkey have it better, but if Frostbite can get that one good pick, then they can very easily steamroll that 5v4 afterwards.
Yes, yeah, I agree indeed. Frostbite, so many single target enemies. Really, I think it's so easy for them to just blow up one target, as they've. I mean, they have 4 different ways essentially to do it. The only thing that it's not necessarily a big deal, but I'm not sure whether the Jinx is really good with this. Of course, the Jinx, if you can get a single pick on her, then she can start running through a team fight. But Jinx, traditionally, of course, more of a team fight focused champion. So. Uh, I think it would have made more sense if you look at the team at the comps that swap the Jin and Jinx perhaps a bit. I think it would just work slightly better, but of course, that's not the way the draft went. And of course, I don't necessarily think that neither comp is bad, but it would just, I think, made a little bit more sense if they had been swapped around. Do you agree?
I do agree. I also believe that you can go too much in one bucket. Like if they were swapped, having all that single target damage can potentially be a bad thing as well. Because if things don't go to plan, and then you have the team fight team able to stabilize, not die as much, potentially get a couple dragons, keep things even. When it comes to 25, 30 minutes, they're going to be able to do a lot more with their tools than anything else. So having a late game ADC like Jinx in this sort of team, I can understand. It gives you that little bit of late game insurance if things do go bad. However, I have seen a lot of games where a Cho'Gath simply walks up to a Jinx, auto attacks once or twice, presses R, there's no more Jinx. I don't know if this team has enough to save the Jinx with the amount of people that can go in on Monkey's side.
Yeah, and indeed, the appeal is not the highest. Of course, I think they have 4 gems that really have a good time going forward, but the Jinx might be in a bit of a pickle since I think the Cho'Gath, the Wukong, Sylas, and Enra also all have a pretty easy time. Of course, not the easiest, but can get on the Jinx fairly simple. So I think it's interesting to see which team can really start the fight first, as I think it will very often be that is the team to actually win the team fight, as both teams have really good tools to actually engage and fight at the start of fights, but perhaps don't have the greatest uh, tools to actually peel back and perhaps play a bit more careful. So yeah, I think it's really going to be up to perhaps the supports and the junglers to initiate these fights effectively, and that I think is where in these later team fights we are going to see the difference when it comes to who comes out on top and perhaps who wins the fight. Of course, a lot can happen in these team fights, but I think that will generally be the deciding factor.
Yeah, it's really it is simply going to be down to who can press their buttons faster, unless the side of Frostbite can find someone who is not where they should be. You know, when it comes to these lower ranked tournaments, there's always going to be mistakes. Even in pro play, there's some really bad mistakes that you see. It does make for a more enjoyable viewing, definitely. But just in terms of actual mechanics and that sort of stuff, sometimes you wish things can get better. I do hope that both these teams do have very good showings, because I really do want that. But I do expect someone is going to path in a way they shouldn't, or potentially go headfirst into a brush. Next thing you know, there's three people there.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely, I think, something that happens quite often. Of course,
I've done it a few times myself.
considering we're of course at the start of the season, so perhaps some people are still just a tiny bit rusty,
Yeah.
and just getting back into it. Of course, with this just generally the setting in these games being very different.
Yeah. Whilst we wait for things to really get rolling, in terms of the additions to the game, you're looking at the Black Roses, you're looking at the Atakan, the respawning Nexus turrets, and the Feats of Strength. What do you think has had the most what am I trying to say? What do you think has been the most effective at winning games?
I don't know. The thing is, the feats of strength is also slightly a mental difference, I think, if you get it, because generally I think the boosts aren't that strong, and the upgrades are quite powerful, but of course they also cost quite a fair amount of gold, and in general they're not that much more powerful. And I think for Atakan, the sort of the I think Ruinous Atakan is above the slightly less one, as we already actually see a fight on this bot side. RTC Brother has to run away. Scarface also getting out. No summoner is used, but Duskblade and Taui wisely using the level 2. But back to the topic, I think for Atakan, the Ruinous never seems to have the highest effect. Of course, if you look at the stats, probably it has a good effect, but I think, of course, the race, if we see the variation of Atakan, which in these more coordinated games is something that generally happens, I think that can absolutely flip games, and if used properly, I think is the thing that allows you to win the game most easily.
Yeah, I would agree in that sense. The respawning Nexus turrets, I think, is just a bit too niche to be effective.
Yeah, it's useful, I think, but there are some cases, like there definitely are some cases where it's going to come in really clutch, but in most cases, when the Nexus turrets are destroyed, so will the Nexus be, or if the Nexus turrets are destroyed, then it's not really the biggest deal to destroy them another time after that. So yeah, I haven't seen it in any impact in any game I've seen so far. So for now,
I'm seeing some did poke on the mid side. There was even one minion the RE tried to charm, but the minion decided that he would rather die than be charmed.
Yeah, Neophyte being bullied away. No mana, he does really struggle as a back away. Does has a DP, so not too many problems. But you see Haki being also bullied a bit by Mr. Int here in the top side. For the rest, we do actually have this Vi coming up towards him, and they might look for a gank, but of course, the side is pretty locked underneath this turret, as the Vi will just use the Fog of War to move towards the bot side. We see split maps for now as the squad ramps have been traded up.
The red team will be able to see the Vi on that bottom river because of that. Well, potentially not now.
No, I think she's just right out of it.
Yeah.
Yes, this you're barely misclickly engaged there onto Haki. As the bot side, actually, we do see the pressure now going over towards Monkey. Scarface being able to push it in slightly. Vincent Jungler still pushing it, of course, expected. Urgot, the slight range he has does just give him an advantage in these early game fights against the Cho'Gath, who can't really do much against it.
Yeah, blue side definitely do have the range advantage for now. Until
Flash used Haki has to get out of there, but now Vincent Jungler will be in trouble as XF100 is here. Flash is up for the Urgot as he flashes away from the knockup. As the gank is good for the Wukong at the end. It is Flash for Flash, but Vincent Jungler pushed away and has to back away now. So some freedom back for Haki, and the Wukong, not the Wukong, the Cho'Gath can relax a little bit.
Very patient on that flash, Mr. Int was. Just holding it off until he knew that the Cho'Gath was going to use that knockup. Able to flash away, get himself to safety. Still no kills at this point in time. Although there have been some quite close calls. This will be the first dragon going off to the Frostbite side. Good hurt.
Yeah, XF100 is able to get out Deadly Ghost and Taui, not really being close enough to get it, of course. The Vi not yet level 6, so doesn't really have the point and click engage that she is known for. Charm does land here onto Neofire, but
some really good damage.
Also does not really want to dive underneath the third. Neofire is very, very low though, doesn't have DTP anymore, so also will be able to push this wave underneath the turret. At the end, no real farm difference in this mid lane, so Neofire really good, really effectively trading his health for the farm, and is able to at least keep this mid lane semi-even, as we do see Haki building up a farm deficit of about 15 in this against them.
Yeah, it's very rough for the Cho'Gath to do much with, with how oppressive this Urgot can be. But it's simply one of those games where you just have to wait, have to be patient, wait for your time to come. Because, with how much Cho'Gath can scale, especially with how tanky he can get, come 20 minutes time, something tells me that this top side will be a little bit different.
Yes, yeah, especially if you can get those feasts off. It's not really using it on the missions, which I really expect, as we do see a fight here a little bit in the jungle, except 100 has to run away from it. He goes one level down. The flash is used as Neophyter over the wall. Has to watch out. Does have the R heal to get himself out of there, but we do I see Brothers having roamed down. You also see on the other side Duskblade having come over, as we do see XF100 has to run away, but he will still be caught out by the RE. No mana for the RE left, so we see the flash over the wall for the Rel. Has to get out of there, as we do still have the Knowledge. In the meantime, in the bot side, Jowie is taken down by Scarface as the Jhin one level up. In the meantime, in this jungle still, we do have Frostbite hunting for some more kills, but the entire team has run away, as RTC Brothers was just slightly early in the fight, but does play more effective with his hooks.
On both sides of the map, it's just a case of not respecting your opponent. With how far pushed up the Urgot was, he was very easily able to come down when the 5 found where the Wukong was trying to do those grabs, which does allow them to get that first blood. But then you look on the bot side, the Jinx pushing up slightly just enough for that Jhin to be able to get some damage down. Especially early on, the Jinx doesn't have a crazy amount of damage. The Jhin certainly has a lot more, especially with that 4th shot. And it's just little bits of disrespect. Just gotta tone it down a little bit, try and sort of, you know, brush it off, take a breather, try not to do it again.
Yeah, and I think an especially painful part is the fact that he still had his barrier and his flash up, so I think he could have gotten away there had he just barriered the dancing grenade, as of course the Jhin was reloading, so he could have survived there. So Taui perhaps just slightly disrespect, not really expecting the Jhin damage this early, so yeah, Taui not really a necessary kill, but for the rest does not lose out too much of it. Still has actually has a farm lead built up, really nice farm there. That's 76 is very high at this point in the game. So yeah, good play by him, even though that was a slight error. Of course, with those 3 Void Traps going down towards the side of Frostbite, they are already 2 out of 3 for the monsters, which for those who are unaware is one of the feats of strength that we were talking about earlier. So very close already to at least one of the 2 you need to actually get that objective or semi-objective down. So yeah, good play there, and overall just Duskblade, nice roam there to ensure the kill.
Yeah, Frostbite are very close to it. All they need is just one more objective, one more dragon, one more set of grubs, and then
Lands by Duskblade. RTC Brothers might be in trouble. The Super Mega Death Rocket finishes him off, as Duskblade really nice playing that, using the root before using the hook to essentially catch Rel after her jump. As we do see the Stylus and the Wukong having roamed down there, but don't really want to take the 2v3. It seems as Deathly Ghost, of course, was quite close. So at the end, a nice kill there, and it's just one more objective and one more kill, and those feats of strength have been secured for Frostbite.
Yes, definitely. I think the Rel was just a bit too overambitious when it comes to that, a bit too overzealous. Knowing that the mid and the jungle were coming down, trying to find something, but just had to wait 5 more seconds to try and do something. She herself got caught out, and then because of that, Jinx gets her first kill, able to get the Yuntals now. Yeah, Jinx is in a very good spot. If I was this Jinx, I'd be quite happy with it.
Yes, Jinx definitely relaxing. Of course, like we said, Jinx is necessarily the strongest early game ADC, but with this kill is just very happy, as of course the death from Scarface is neutralized a bit, and can just wait for that late game flash in cease and assist used. Flash away from Scarface, does get that, it goes underneath the third, that's the root now that goes, that's to watch out there. Very used by Scarface, as now the Curtain Call is used. Now he also in trouble, very used by him, that he goes, he's able to run away, but now he is still in trouble as NF100 does finish off the kill. Duskblade is still here, but he has to run away as well. Not a root there for Scarface. As the dive goes completely wrong, Deathly Ghost is able to want to get away, but Duskblade falls as well. Feats of strength reclaimed by MonkeSports. And yeah, just a completely botched dive there, as Duskblade was not close enough to get the hook, and Deathly Ghost was just caught underneath the turret.
Very silly from the side of Frostbite. Not respecting the Jhin flash, Deadly Ghost being forced on the tower, being put into place. Honestly, I felt like Taui should have used the traps a bit earlier, but that's just me. it does give. Frostbite still have the lead with 1.2. In fact, can we just very quickly see the gold? I'd like to see where that gold is currently on them. So actually, this June is actually ahead in terms of gold when it comes to the ADC matchup. You're looking at it's mostly on the mid. You're looking at a 800 gold lead for the Ari, 600 gold lead for the Urgot.
Yeah. So yeah, as we do, of course, as you see about a 30 farm lead in the mid lane. Of course, we were saying that Fighter was farming quite well before, but now is falling behind us. Yeah, of course, the 2 kills per gen are really nice and do quite help you with setting up that gold lead in the bot lane.
Especially with how close the CS is for both the ADCs.
Yeah, so yeah, the Jin quite happy. Of course, I think it's since they said they get the piece of strength, they only got 1 feat, as the second one will be secured in just a second now by the side of Frostbite. So both have 1 feat. So it's going to be a race for the first third now to who gets to who is able to buy some fancy footwear and get that small buff for the late game, which while small is definitely nice. As in those later team fights, everything can make a difference. But yeah, I think MonkeSports, of course, very happy with their play over there. As it helped them rescue the game. I wouldn't say that they were out of it just yet, as we clearly saw, but they were falling behind, and this helped them essentially get back into the game. Still a gold lead for the side of Frostbite from about 2000, but MonkeSports realized that they can fight and perhaps also see that Frostbite can make these types of silly mistakes. So yeah, MonkeSports most likely just relaxed for now and hoping and perhaps waiting for some plays as Neofire now here XF100 or so. I think Jungler nice flash to get away from the Absconded Duct and from the Rupture farther from the Cho'Gath. So nice play there as we do actually see this bot emitter almost going down. We see some Vector Storm used in that bot lane, but RTC Brothers not sure what he can do there. Critical is used, but Taui not really too low, as we also see that's great able to body block for most of it, as at the end the barrage on the turret has been stopped, but also in this mid lane takes down the first third upgraded boost for Frostbite. Neofire wants to fight, but he's 2 levels down, does steal the ultimate, but also has his up, so he's able to just get away for now. As I think Jungler fighting onto Haki, he finally actually lands one of those disdains, but isn't really able to kill the Cho'Gath. Of course, with all the health he's stacked up, it does take quite a long time for Instinct Jungler to just shred through him, as he really has a nice black lever, but if there's no armor to shred through it, yeah, at the end it is just doesn't do too much.
People just want to throw hands. We see fights in the bot lane, we see fights in the mid lane, we see fights in the top lane. Everyone just wants to fight. It's very fun to watch.
Yes, definitely. Yes, Saki is being engaged upon once again. But yeah, first third secured for Osmo, very happy for him. As now those boots will upgrade. Of course, the initial upgrade is absolutely tiny. Generally gives, I think the for the magic boots, I think it gives 2 extra flat magic band, which I don't think you really notice in many games. As Haki now has to flash away, is still used as Instinct Jungler once again, and the Fear Beyond Death lands. Haki not respecting the Deadly Ghost enough, and Instinct Jungler able to take down the Cho'Gath. Of course, that ultimate simply being based on max health doesn't really help if you have a lot of max health. So yeah, Instinct Jungler able to get the kill there. That he goes good gank, as Osmo might not be in trouble as XF100 ganks him. Does still have the ultimate up, so is able to get himself away. As actually XF100 taking a lot of damage there. Doesn't really have any defensive stats.
The Cho'Gath also used his flash in that as well. A little bit pointless. Honestly, I feel like at that point you have to sort of accept the fact that you are going to die, that there is really no way out because of the Fire Ultimate and the Urgot Ultimate hitting you as well. So the flash there, a little bit silly, but probably just one of those muscle memory things where you say, oh, I'm in danger, let me flash.
Yes, yeah, those are the things that you see, and perhaps these the slightly lower ranks where flashing is just at the end it is just a natural response to being ganked, even if perhaps when you look at it rationally you were just going to die there, even with the flash, as we actually see this outcome spawning in another 3.5 minutes. So still some time as the hook lands onto Neofire, and Taui not really close enough to throw the traps, but it's actually actually Brothers who is in trouble. Charm lands as he tries to crash down as the first goal already. XF100 now also in the middle of the team. Cyclone does do enough as another hook lands onto Scarface. The Jin called out. Neofighter was the one who was engaged upon first, but he's the only one to walk away from now. Stowie gone to run after him. Triple kill for Ospa as the Ari managing to finish off all of those kills. And Frostbite just able to win the fight into the jungle so easily.
Yeah, very, very good fight from Frostbite. You know, getting that first pick, forcing the Silas away, making it so that the numbers were in their favor. I do feel like Towie was close enough for the traps, and every single time I have seen the Nautilus hook, Towie's first instinct is to use the W, the Zap gun. His first instinct really should be throwing down those traps, making it so that CC is longer. You're able to get that kill, and if he did, I feel like that would have been 4 kills and not 3.
Yes, as now Haki might be in trouble as the Fury on Death is used once again. As he was trying to fight as XF100 was joining in, but the Wongkong now also has to flash away. Neofire is here, as in the meantime his bot turret is also falling away. The critical is used as how he does fall low, but in the end it's Ospo who actually gets the kill as Brothers is taken on as Instinct Jungler is in the meantime is still fighting in this top side. Neofighter and XF100 can't stand against the Argot. It's a double kill for Instinct Jungler, also another kill on the bot side, and Frostbite, they're just taking their fights across the map. MonkeSports, they're just running in blind, it seems.
Mr. Int just doesn't care. Mr. Int doesn't care if there's 3 people coming for him. Mr. Int laughs and Mr. Int simply says that he'll win, and he does.
Yes, beautiful play there by the Urgulus. I mean, he just walked around there, and I think XF100 and Neofire, they just weren't able to coordinate it slightly there. Just perhaps slightly mismanaged there as Dudley goes now just is able to pick up yet another jungle cap. Is he actually going to pick up the eye? Wait, okay, he does pick it up. Okay, thank you. Yes, he almost left it behind, but yeah, and Mr. In just able to win the fight on the top side, and now gold lead is up to I think 7k right now, and Frostbite they're just chinning as it seems like MonkeSports they really just wanted to make a play happen there, but at the end every fight they took just was slightly losing. And now in this top side, they might have to watch out again as XF100 and RC Bros are gold. We do see the crash down, but the stun doesn't land. It definitely goes. He's able to get away. We do now see the dredge line used onto the Wukong. XF100's first one to be called out is now seizing the assist. Scarface flashes away, double knockup as also RC Bros is hit. Then goes has to flash away. So flash from Scarface is good, but Neofire now caught in the middle of the team. RC Bros also has to watch out as he crashes down with the Magnastorm, but it doesn't do enough. Scarface, the only one to survive, does not have the curtain call up, so you have to watch out. This how he able to dish out a lot of damage really quickly. If you, of course, with the tap test of Dust Blade doesn't land, Rogue still tries to walk up because doesn't hit his engage as well. As now he also falls. Scarface able to make that play, a triple kill for him. As Frostbite really wanted to Jin, but they just tunnel vision too much, and Scarface just gets a gift in the mid lane.
Just go for the tower. You just go for the tower. If you want to get the hook as a Nautilus, that's absolutely fine. Nautilus misses it, okay. You walk away. You don't carry on going in. Just a really silly mistake from the side of Frostbite. They had the advantage. They should have just gotten that tower, and then if the Jin stays, then you can go for him then. Now, at this point in time, you should know that you are in the lead. You don't need to try and risk anything by doing those sorts of plays.
Yes, I agree. Just didn't land the engages and wanted to kill them perhaps a bit too badly. As we do have actually Atakan spawning just a second ago, as now no team really looking for it now, as it does seem Frostbite are standing up for it. Taui is there, that he goes also moving towards it. The Neofire, RC Brothers, Scarface all moving there as well. Of course, topside aren't there yet, but both of them have their teleports up. But I think that Instinct Jungler is very much okay to just keep it a 4v4 down there and a 1v1 in the top side, so it will most likely be a 4v4, of course. Not certain, as we do have Osco not yet there. It's a 4v3 for now. The Ari slightly late as Atkan does fall low, and because has taken quite a bit of damage. Critical is used at start of fight. XF100 tries to get a besiege. This is used. The Wukong is taken down as so much damage. Onto Deadly Ghost as XF100 is able to. Does that finally never fight the first one to fall. TP in from Haki, but he's too late. The Feast does not do enough, and it's a ace in the bot lane. Atakan secure for Frostbite, and they don't lose a single player for it. as I think I misspoke there, as the season assist was used onto Deadly Ghost, but at the end the fight was just able to live long enough, as Neofire was just assassinated in the fight. I'm not really sure what happened to Brothers, but he also just got shredded immediately, and then after that, of course, now he can just run through the team fight, can do so much damage with that passive, and is now Frostbite looking to end the first game perhaps already, as with that Herald they can get so much done. They're still pushing forward, and then another crash will be used as Neofire sends it towards the bot side. In the meantime, we do see Notified Neofire is already very, very low as Taui tries to shoot. Does play almost might be the first one to fall, but he doesn't fall just yet, as it's Wukong the first one to fall. Brothers also goes down as now Neofire still very, very low. Doesn't season assist, not season assist, but no, he's just dead. As Haki now also in trouble. We see finally the first one withdrawing, but the rest of the team is still going forward. They don't even need the Atakan buff. They can just take it without. They can just take the fight as Frostbite. They take Atakan and they take the game.
A really crazy turn of events. As they're going straight from the Atakan fight, MonkeSports trying to get a pick onto the fight, and things were going well, but when it comes to those sort of fights, it's literally just a wallet diff. The amount of damage and the amount of health that the side of Frostbite have was just too much for Monkeys. And then you see the attempt at trying to get the Atakan with the Cho'Gath, but as you said, it was just too little, too late. Cho'Gath did not get it. Cho'Gath also dies. It's a rough one. When you are that far behind, I mean, we can see the gold. Those teams can't. And I feel like if you know you are that far behind, you just let the team have Atakan. You try and find other ways back in. Unless you think that is your only way, and that doesn't work, then fine. Either way, very good set of fights from Frostbite. They go 1-0 up. They have the advantage going in. It's going to be interesting to see what MonkeSports do to try and change things around. What they do to try and win this next game. Because I do think they tried a bit too much too early, in my opinion.
Yes, we will discuss in a sec, but first we're going to take a short break so these players can relax a bit, so we can grab some water really quickly, and then we will be back in a couple of minutes for game 2. All right, we are back for game 2 of Frostbite versus MonkeSports in Valanth League Division 4. First game was a surprisingly quick win, I must say, for Frostbite. As after taking Athakan, they were just able to run into the base, take the fight. So, yeah, at the end, Frostbite showing a good performance. What were some things that you saw in the first game that you quite liked or perhaps disliked?
In terms of the draft and stuff, Frostbite definitely really played to their strengths. I mean, you look at pretty much every single lane, and the side of Monkey just couldn't do much. Ari outranging the Silas, Urgot outranging, outpoking the Cho'Gath. Even down on the bot side, the duo of Jinrail, in my opinion, isn't that great. I would much prefer someone like a Zyra, a Lux, someone that can help with the damage for the Jhin, just so that that poke is stronger, is easier, it is easier to inflict upon the enemy, and just gives them a tougher time. So it just in terms of draft, yeah, it was just clear to see. In terms of everything else, Urgot, as I was literally about to say, was absolutely fantastic. So much so that they're even banning it straight up now.
Yes, as we don't go into draft, yeah, Urgot instantly being taken away. Clearly, monsters don't want to have to deal with it again. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is I think I always thought it was a decently strong pick, but clearly I don't think that Haki quite likes playing into it, and perhaps they really want to have something, perhaps melee that just isn't good into Urgot. So perhaps they didn't think the Cho'Gath was the problem, but more the Urgot. So it will be interesting to see whether we're going to see the Cho'Gath for a second game in a row. Also, they are being taken away. So. And the Jinx, so yeah, clearly MonkeSports don't want to have to deal with these laners again. Clearly saw the problem there, so a lot is left open for the side of Frostbite. So yeah, perhaps we will actually see the Orianna for Allspeed coming in.
I would like to see Monkey have a team in which they need to be more aggressive, because it felt like through most of that last match, they were really laid back. They were too hesitant to do much of anything. And straight up Orianna.
Yes, indeed. After the Ornn blind pick, we do see the Orianna just locked in. Osby so confident in it that he actually, I think you know his name is actually no, Ospo. So confident in his own ability on the champion that he doesn't even want to wait. And I mean, if you've played so much of it already this season as he has, I think it's fair to just go big maximum comfort. As we do also see the Jarvan being picked up in the jungle, so not going with the Vi again. But I do think actually the Jarvan plus the Orianna can be interesting. What do you think?
I'm just a bit confused as to why you would first pick Ornn, to be honest. That's just the main thing going through my head at this point in time. Like it just leaves you to have like a very easy counter for the Ornn, and also just letting someone who's in 20 solo queue matches when 19 of them have been Orianna. It's a bit weird. Azir into it, I can understand. You know, Azir can definitely outpoke the Orianna. Jarvan Skarner is just overall just a very, very good jungler. Probably one of the best in the game still.
Yes, definitely.
Even though he hasn't gotten a skin in like, what, 3,600 days?
I'm not certain, but it is a strong pick. Actually, we see Wukong also coming in, so a bit of uncertainty, I think, on this top side. Perhaps even Jarvan, perhaps going even support. So really interesting to see which one of these will go towards the jungle. I expect the Wukong to be the jungler, but yeah, we do now have actually several picks that really like an Orianna on them, and it can be really effective with a sudden shockwave. So I think it's really interesting to see, as I think this Orianna can have a lot of fun this game, and and I'm excited to see if Ospo can really have the performance perhaps we're expecting.
This is also fascinating because you could put the Wukong top, Wukong jungle. You could put the Jarvan top, support jungle. A little bit of a flex, which is fascinating. Also, I was wrong about the Skarner. It's actually 1,523. He is the champion who has gone the longest without a skin, actually, at this point in time.
They didn't even give him a skin when they gave him the rework?
Nope.
That's sad.
That really is sad, yeah. The next one is Alistar.
I'm quite strong.
Just a little bit of trivia for people. Who says you don't learn?
All right, Frostbite are excited. They are picking the Vayne for the bot lane.
I can completely understand it. You already see Ornn and Skarner. You want someone that can shred through tank and armor and that sort of stuff. Who better than Vayne?
Yes, definitely. I agree. Yes.
Also Nautilus.
Why are you picking? Okay. Well, as we do perhaps also see. Oh, no, okay, that's
Okay.
Xerath.
Okay.
It's a bit of a bait there. A bit of a bait there by MonkeSports. As I think the Xerath into the Vayne is going to be a lot more successful. Of course, Vayne not the easiest champion necessarily to hit, but of course you should just
I'd
not
be fascinated who you play into Vayne.
Yeah, I never know who to pick into Vayne.
Yeah, Caitlyn's fair.
Oh,
You have the range advantage, especially if you have the range advantage for the lane when it comes to Seraph and Caitlyn. Vayne, while she can tumble forward to get a hit, if she does that, that just opens her up to get stunned by the Seraph, and then trapped with the Caitlyn.
yes, yeah, definitely a lot of range here in this bot lane. I think they just want to make the life of this Vayne absolutely miserable. Just want to never even let her close enough to get a single stack.
Now, where's the Jarvan and Wukong going? Is it Jarvan top? Seems like it. It could change. You never know.
Yes, yeah. I mean, they do have of course, a slight time. I think it's at 30 seconds or something, or 50 seconds. That it's courtesy to have to no longer change your.
I believe it's 30 seconds.
Right. Yeah. So 30 seconds. So for now, they are going to keep it this way. Yeah, the Wukong going towards the top side a long time ago.
I'm a bit confused at that, if I'm going to be honest. It's very good overall for the team. It's a good team fight with Orianna and with Jarvan, 100%. But I would have much preferred having like someone more like a Mordekaiser or something around this point.
Yes, indeed. I think that the Wukong didn't really need to come out. I think also because the Wukong wasn't really going to be banned away anyway. So interesting. Perhaps they want to wait a little bit longer on who was going to be banned away from the ADC, but perhaps want to wait with this Vayne or this Nami a bit longer. So yeah, perhaps it's just a pick to throw some unexpected energy into the draft. But I don't really. It doesn't really seem like MonkeSports drafted much differently because of it. Is they just banned away to ADC. So yeah, perhaps a bit of fun for the side of Frostbite, but for the rest, perhaps it isn't really the most logical. Of course, looking at the general team, what do you think of both teams? Which team do you really favor here in this game?
It's definitely a different draft from Monkeys. You're looking more at poke, but then you also have team fight skills as well, where you have the Skarner, the Ornn, able to have very good mass AoE ultimates, the Asir able to shuffle people to or away from the team, but then you have the range, like I said, with the Caitlyn, with the Seraph. It's interesting. I would like to see how it works, but I think it's I think you're throwing your combo a bit all over the place by doing that. When it comes to Frostbite side, Wukong, Jarvan, Orianna, that's a very good core of people when it comes to a team fight, especially with the Nami ultimate. However, the short range of the Vayne is going to be puzzling when it comes to the enemy side. How is she going to get past the poke of the Azir, the Caitlyn, the Xerath, to try and get the damage onto this Ornn, onto this Skarner?
Yes, yeah, it indeed is going to be a bit difficult for the Vayne to really walk through the range of MonkeSports, because of course Caitlyn, Xerath, Azir, it's just so much just damage that they can throw at you before you can even get close enough to the Ornn and the Skarner. So I think in these front to back team fights, the Vayne is going to be in a little bit of trouble. Of course, if you then look at the rest of the team, the Jarvan and the Wukong have a fairly easy time on getting into the backline. So if these can just jump into the backline first thing, then I think the Vayne can walk up much easier. But it's really going to be up to this Jarvan and this Wukong to essentially get up in this backline, and perhaps the Orianna to then lend a big shockwave to actually disrupt this backline enough for the Vayne to actually get the value that she wants. Because
Yes.
the Vayne wants to do stuff before Jarvan Wukong goes in, and yeah, she'll just die fairly quickly. As a Nami can't really do enough healing for that. So yeah, for the most part, I think Frostbite, they have an interesting comp, definitely. I think they're going to be the more fun team to watch. But I think that this MonkeSports have grabbed a nice amount of tools to protect themselves and perhaps to allow them to turn the tides of this game fairly fairly easily if Frostbite does not play it well, as we are going to get into the game.
Yeah, it would certainly be fascinating to see Frostbite's comp. You need everything to work at the right times. Let's see if they can coordinate, communicate with each other to make that work. But it's also going to be fascinating to see how this early game is. Is this Vayne going to be poked out to the point where she isn't going to be able to get minions? Or is it simply going to be a case of you have these poke, you have this poke lane and bot, are they going to utilize it? There have been a few times where I have played, where I was a Smolder, let's say, into a Caitlyn, and the Caitlyn just did not use her range, her aggression, and her oppressiveness to stop me.
Yeah, I think I might have been at Caitlyn because I have struggled against Vayne in the past as Caitlyn, but yeah, of course Caitlyn can be very, very strong against his Vayne, but it is something where the Caitlyn actually has to use and has to perhaps play cocky enough a bit to actually bully out the Vayne. But we'll be interesting to see whether Scarface can do this. I do think that Scarface was the best part of MonkeSports last game. Of course, got the solo kill onto the Jinx in the early game, and was able to although it was a slight misplay, get the triple kill in the mid lane later on into the game. So yeah, he was the one of this in last game to show the most promise. So it will be interesting to see whether he can perhaps do that again in a slightly perhaps even more favorable lane as last time, as we already see Taui getting hit by one of those eyes of destruction by brother. So yeah, a good start already. As I think Jungler actually taking a lot of damage there by Haki with the breath.
You know the names of the skills better than me. I don't think I know a single one. There's so many to learn, and I'm bad with, people's names as it is. So trying to learn just what was it? Over
I
like
have died
400,
to
500 things.
Yeah, I have died to enough Xeraths, and I know their skills from it, and I know that it skills quite well from general trauma. But no, I mean, for the general champion, I don't know, but Xerath, I happen to kind of know. So yeah, but for the rest, we do already see damage. Haki being pushed in once again into jungler, able to use the damage already. Of course, Wukong, a very strong early game champion. Of course, Ornn does have some power in that area as well, but yeah, Wukong just generally can have these early game fights quite. Deal with the early game fights quite well, especially after some buffs I think we saw a couple seasons ago.
I want to see Scarface move up a little more, get one or two autos in on that Vayne, because right now it's pretty much only the Xerath that is getting that poke damage down. You need to have both of these laners be able to, to get a damage in for it to be effective.
This is actually Haki getting quite a lot of damage down. Sadly, that's the auto attack onto the clone, so not too much damage. But yeah, Scarface can walk up a bit more. As we do see the orb land onto Dusk, which is great. They actually condemn into the wall for Brother flash away from the bubble, but the flag and drag is there. Scarface also has to flash himself out of there, but Taui still goes forward, almost able to get the kill, and our brother just ran without mana into a bush next to a Vayne, and that's just too careless.
I'm wondering if there's any sort of miscommunication, because you see brother walk up and then Scarface stay back. It's just silly. Like, you should be talking to each other at this point in time. I stunned them. Shall we go in? Yes, no. Especially when you don't have vision in that brush to begin with.
Yes, yeah. Perhaps Brothers was just looking for a single ult attack to proc his passive. Get some mana back. Is Taui now flashing in, but the barrier is there. Barrier also for Taui as he gets the kill. The Scarface with the tower will finish him off. Brother at the end getting the kill, but Taui's probably saying worth as a big deal of farm is lost for the side of Scarface. But
Yeah,
Taui going for a very, very aggressive play.
Taui simply showing off how confident he is in this match. And already the idea of this bot lane is already not coming to fruition on the side of Monkey.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Of course, it is true that once the Vayne gets some kills, gets ahead a little bit, it does start to get much less fun for the Caitlyn, as after all, the Vayne can just kind of run up and the poke just doesn't really do enough anymore, unless it really is hit effectively. So interesting to see whether Taui is just going to be able to go for more of those aggressive plays with then, of course, I think Scarface not underneath third. But yeah, Scarface, not much he could have done there, of course. After, I think he should have just backed as soon as possible, but a bit of a difficult situation, as we do see Deadly Ghost have to drag himself out of there, as X100 does do a lot of damage in that bot jungle. First Dragon does seem like it's going to be secured for MonkeSports, as we do see the Condemn. In the meantime, also 2-man Shockwave. Scarface is in trouble, but it's 2 more kills that seem to be ready, as it's 3 kills total, as at the end, the entire team falls. 2 people got Shockwaves, 1 person got Condemned, and then it was just over. No running away from the Vayne, no running away from the Orianna. Feats of Strength, first feat of Strength already secured for Frostbite, as they just continue with the trend of last game.
I mean, what is there to say? Orianna gets a very good ultimate. Monkey should just be a lot more wary of the Orianna ultimate. You know the Orianna is 6. Why are you walking together?
Yes, now it does seem like MonkeSports want to get something back. Gold, of course, got used. Truman Shuffle as well, as Neofire doesn't actually get the assist, as Haki at the end is the one to get the kill. 3 Void Crops now ready, as Deadly Ghost is called out. As at least one trend shift from last game is that in this game MonkeSports actually able to get these objectives. First Dragon was already secured, and now those first 3 Void Crops, so at least something going the way of MonkeSports is now. Mr. Int might also be in a little bit of troubles now, except now another does not want to go that way with him. Perhaps a bit scared of Mr. Int getting another 1v2 similar to what we saw last game. As actually we see the bubble land in the bot lane. Happens with it.
Yeah, the Vayne's not level 6, not wanting to go in at this point in time, which is fair enough. Especially because the Vayne doesn't have a full item at this point as well. Once Vayne does get that 1.5 items, she really does become a champion then. As a lot of people would know, facing her, either in top lane or in bot,
Yeah,
it becomes an absolute nightmare to deal with.
Yeah, indeed. It's not really fun to see a Vayne with ult sprinting after you when you just want to farm. As Vayne actually level 6 now, but with this bubble also not going to be utilized, as we do see the gank in the bot top side by Deadly Ghost, but without the Cataclysm up. Warren was just able to flash himself out of there with relative ease. Only the flash burns. Still something nice from Mr. Int, gives him some opportunity for a future fight, but Cyclone was used for it as Active 100 catching his wave in the top side. In the meantime, Taui's still getting a little bit of poke thrown at him, but of course with that Fam Scepter up, his life becomes a lot nicer.
It's crazy how much damage this Skarner has. I mean, you saw it when the Jarvan tried to steal that dragon the first time. He chunked a good quarter of his HP in like what, two hits, 2 spells, something like that. And then you see there Skarner just throws a rock and it does, well.
Boom goes Neofire, as Osmo just takes him down underneath the turret, knowing the damage of Soriana, almost just one-shotting him from, I think, 3/4 health with the shockwave, and Neofire just completely getting caught off guard, didn't even have time to flash.
I would not be surprised if Neofire is thinking to himself, why did we let this person have his quote unquote one trick. You know, the champion that he's been playing the most recently, because you see just the complete difference in terms of knowing your champions' weaknesses and strengths.
Yes, as we see a bubble land in the bubble lane, very used by Towie, is also the ultimate is used Cataclysm there, as now Rise of the Arcade is thrown out by the Zeras, but yeah, not much you can do. There are still people right next to you, so that those really won't have much of an impact. Nice gank there by that, because already the bubble taking down one, so good play there. Of course, Towie did get taken a bit low, did have to use the barrier, and the heal was used by Duskblade, so at the end, Towie perhaps a bit too overconfident there, but with those 2 kills, will have his work surely ready now. And yeah, this Vayne is just going to start hurting.
It is 10 minutes into the game, and there's a 3,000 gold lead.
Yes, and it does look like Mr. Int wants to extend it a little bit as he bullies Heki for just a little bit more. Probably actually not as big as we saw last game. Heki much closer as now Cyclone is used, but Explosive Force got thrown out as well. Heki is very tanky, but he misses it! Oh, Heki could have won the 1v1, but the R was just mistimed, and Mr. Int is able to get the 1v1 as the Ornn just misplays it. Does it up to get back in lane?
I don't know whether that's a misplay or an outplay. You see the Wukong use his first ultimate, you know that he still has one.
Neofire has to flash away, flash in from Deadly Ghost as the Shivim Shuffle misses. Also using his flash, and Neofire gets taken out again. At least takes 2 flashes forwards, but yeah, Frostbite, they are just they are feeling themselves and are just wanting to finish this game off as quick as possible.
Yeah, there's always been a thing with teams of Frostbite where they start, you know, the split off very, very well. You saw it last season where the Division 2 Frostbite team, they got first, you know.
Yes, as
they
we
get
have
first in Division 2, Red team get Dragon, even a kill as well. And
yes,
even in the Division 3, and I also believe, I don't know.
No, last season they didn't play Division 4 at the end, so. At the end, but it was indeed in Division 2 and 3 they won the group stage and then failed to capitalize.
Yeah, that is something that pretty much every single Frostbite team seems to suffer from. They just need to keep this momentum. They have to keep this tempo, push it forward to the next game, push it forward to the game after that. I genuinely don't know what it is, why these Frostbite teams always seem to stagger at the end. Whether it's hesitation, whether it's overconfidence.
In my painful experience of having sadly casted a lot of the Frostbite defeats that have ended the runs, I think it's just also very often that one team that kind of just grows into the season much more. I think Frostbite teams seem to just come into the season really well prepared, and perhaps some other teams do that perhaps slightly less, but then during the season find their groove much more, whereas Frostbite just kind of peaks at the start of the season and doesn't go much higher. After that, as Hinting Jungler flashes in, everyone comes over the wall but misses, as the Monkey was long gone and this Haki who has the one to fall. These Void Drops are also going to be taken down by Frostbite, as the jungle camps are again 2 for 2, as only one remaining for Frostbite to complete those feats of strength. But yeah, for now, Frostbite not Mayhem Titans, having a really good game, really enjoying themselves clearly, as Scarface is being pushed away again. And yeah, Frostbite just rolling over MonkeSports right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is Mr. Int's game, and he wants to make sure that Heki knows it, you know? Got that first kill, and then from there, got another one within 2 minutes, I think it was.
Yes, definitely, yes. Yeah, I'll tell you, wants to go onto Scarface, used the Condemn to get him away. Yeah, of course, those 3 stacks giving him a lot of bonus damage. But Scarface already having 4, that's not really having the most fun game in Jungle. Mr. Int now coming back. Heki does have the R2 up, so can start getting some link stacks, also getting one from the clone there, so can start stacking that health, but I really doubt it. Frostbite Titans want to give him the time to stack up there, as it currently seems like they are absolutely wanting to go for Neofire. mostly dodging away from the ball there, but at the end isn't really able to get much more than a quick dodge.
Like, we are already seeing the difference in damage from the two ADCs at this point in time. Caitlyn only now just getting her first item.
Yes, yeah. So it's just very, very slow. Sadly, as we do see the Impale use right of the Arcane also turn out as Nami might be in trouble. Also, the Ace Noah's flash in from Duskblade to block the shot. Duskblade now finishes off XF 100, and Nami going for the hero play onto the Caitlyn shot. That's now flash in from Taui into the Q from Caitlyn. Scarface gets the kill, gets some revenge finally after having been taken down so often, and the gank in the long run works out for XF 100 as Neofire is in trouble once again. Shockwave is used in the mid lane. Osco trying to run down the Azir, but not much he can do as Taui all summoners used by that bot lane and we're still able to get the Q on. We do see a bit of the strength of this Caitlyn, and Azir, even though they are so far behind, just the range that they have do a lot of damage. Clearly shows, and also the damage by that corner was just incredibly high.
Yeah, I do respect it from Taui trying to turn that situation into better, but even getting a 1-for-1 in that situation is fantastic. You do give a shutdown over to Caitlyn, but with how far ahead the Vayne is, I don't really think it matters that much.
No, indeed. Of course, these are the moments that can, in the end of the game, be found why they got back, but yeah, I don't want to talk too gloomily about MonkeSports. Of course, they can always find a comeback. Every game is winnable at some point. You have no idea how hard Frostbite can throw this game. As we do see 4 members of MonkeSports on this bot lane trying to catch out the gank from Frostbite, but I think it was Ospo getting away quick enough, and actually not Ospo, wasn't even there, to not get called out. Dragon up in right now. So both actually know that Haki does have his teleport up, and Jungler doesn't have his, so we're really trying to get the Ornn to stay, and as actually this Dragon will be the one to secure who takes that specific feat of strength. But it doesn't really look like MonkeSports want to contest too much. 2-man bubble there is massive, as that's also a 2-man shot onto two people. XF 100 does steal the Dragon though! He does fall for it, but he is able to take it away. And yeah, all of them are tiny things that MonkeSports gets, but everything could be what leads them slightly back into the game, as it is now the first feat of strength secured. Sadly, actually, as I say that, I see that the mid lane third has already fallen, so it doesn't actually matter. But of course, the dragons are still nice. That is 2 dragons. Delays the dragon stacking for Frostbite, so small victories for MonkeSports have to be celebrated, as right now they just need to take what they can, as Haki falls in top lane. Like, we completely missed that.
No, it was Mr. In staying in a bush, waiting for the opportune moment, going in, getting that kill. Very good, very effective. And at 10 minutes, it was a 3k gold lead. Looking at it now, nearly 8 minutes in from that point, you're looking at 8,000 now.
Yes, as we do see XF 100 head landing the over the wall to Taui, but the damage just isn't quite there, it seems, for MonkeSports just yet, as without RTC they can't really take down Taui, it seems. They do need that damage from Azir, as now in the meantime Neofire called out once again. Does have the soldiers there, flashes to even shuffle away, but the flash capitalism is still there. That goes once the fight gets called out underneath the turret a little bit, as RTC Brother and XF 100 are able to get the kill back, shut down onto XF 100, so slightly aggressive there by Deadly Ghost. But it does also seem like Frostbite, they just want to have a little bit of fun with the game. They just want to go for some plays that perhaps are overly cocky, as they know that they can still afford to make a lot of mistakes with the 8k gold lead they have. So right now they're just using gold as a trading tool, essentially.
Yes, but you can also get overconfident. That 8,000 gold lead can very suddenly turn into a 2,000 gold deficit if you try. You know, if you disrespect your opponent too much.
Yeah, so yes, so Frostbite of course need to watch out for that. I assume that they are careful enough, but they do need to watch out a little bit, of course. Their lead is just so massive. some shutdowns they can throw away as the other three members of their team still have a nice shutdown on them. But yeah, Frostbite, it is indeed they need to perhaps settle down a little bit, just wait for the objectives to come in, and hope that MonkeSports just perhaps slightly overstep, or they are able to catch out MonkeSports, which would even be better.
Yeah, at this point in time, you are so far ahead that you can just sit back, relax. You haven't got you don't have to force anything. You can go for the Atacam that's coming up soon. You can go for the Baron that's coming up in 5 minutes' time. You can get the dragons. You can get all the stuff, because the enemy have to come into you to try and stop you from getting it. And that's when you can pick them off, get the kills, get everything you need, get some more turrets. You don't just go for what is free. Do not go for the things that will cost you gold, that will cost you a death. Just take things slowly. Set up some vision, much like how they have done in the bottom side of the blue jungle, as you can see. Quite a bit efficient around this Atacam, so that they know they can get it completely for free.
Yes, yeah. I was actually surprised that it's still Voracious Atacam. There has been quite some deaths, but I'm not exactly sure what the conditions are. As I
don't know what the conditions are either. I think it's. Is it something to do with how bloody the game is?
Yeah, it isn't the amount of kills, but I thought it was 10 kills or 10 for each, but both of them. But there have been more than 20 kills, so I don't really know what it is, but we are going to see Voracious Atacam as Instinct Jungler can. It's just a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, talking about how they were just going a bit too aggressive, they have just been given a beautiful extra tool that allows them to go a bit too aggressive for very little payout. So yeah, but perhaps we will see some overextensions, but they are just slowly chipping down on these turrets, going around the map. This bot turret now, the first one that is in trouble, Wrath of the Arcane, is used as now we're trying to force out Scarface in this mid lane as the bots are too. Finally falls. Instinct Jungler are still looking to cash out Haki, but Yorn really doesn't want to take any more stress from this Wukong. As he does walk up a little bit, hits the clone, gets the Cyclone out, as now Haki has to run away, dashes out, but Instinct Jungler at the end does not get it. Still has the second part of the Cyclone up. I think his X700 is here, one of the force got used as well. Ace in the hole, as we do also see the Xerath over the wall. Imperius, he's still not. He tries to call to Scarface now. Can he get at least one kill? No, knocks to the wall, and finally withdraws back to his base. 200 gold, only going over to the side of MonkeSports, and so much used to get a mere 200 gold and just bully this monkey out of this top lane for once.
Yeah, a lot of stuff used, a lot of people moving over there. Is it good enough? Can you see that play as blue side, get that 200 gold and say, yeah, that's worth it?
Yeah, I think it is a hard one, but yeah, I think you need to get those ones, those kills anyway, and it's the Voracious outcome of just. I find it just such a frustrating one to just look at it. It's very often, if you're already losing, it just makes it such a steeper wall to climb, as you just have to. You essentially have to kill someone to not even really kill them. You just have to kill. Everyone almost gets one free death. So yeah, at the end, the kill does go over. Actually, it doesn't even count as a kill. The withdrawal does go over, as we do have the dragon. Actually, I'm not sure when the dragon comes up, but we do have the Baron coming up in about 1.5 minutes. So Frostbite probably looking for that, and as they are just trying to calmly choke out this game and wait for MonkeSports perhaps to get an overstep. At some point, but MonkeSports really, with those two dragons they have, can wait for a really long time before the problems are going to be really big. Of course, this Atacam is reversing, as the Atacam buff actually has fallen away by now. So yeah, they have some time to just wait. Strange wants to go onto Haki once again, bully this Ornn even more, flash away. He's going to knock him into the wall, but we do have Duskblade and Taui here, and Taui is going to shred through these tanks. Shuffle is, we also see the right of the Arcane 2-man knockup. It seems like MonkeSports have found the fight. Taui is dead, Instinct Jungler is still right there, but he will fall as well, and now the Nami can't do anything. MonkeSports, they managed to find the fight. Frostbite went just too aggressive. Taui was not able to clear these tanks quick enough, and at the end, the 3v5 was actually 3v5 was won by MonkeSports, and they have found some way back into the game, perhaps.
Yeah, a very good fight from the side of Monkey. A fantastic Shurima shuffle, forcing those three into such a tight area, allowing the Scar to get his ultimate off, allowing the Ornn to get his ultimate off, all three dying. I'm just a bit perplexed on the side of Frostbite why you would not do that when you had the Atacam buff active.
Yeah, definitely. There's a bit of a confusing play there. It does go the other way. Of course, we still see that the gold lead is it shrunk down to a mere 6,000 now. So, yeah, Frostbite still have plenty to go around with MonkeSports. Yeah, just really wisely playing it, patiently playing their range. Knowing, of course, that with the Zareth, with the Azir, and with the Caitlyn, they can just clear these waves really easily. They don't need to take any big fights. But with this Baron being taken out, they might need to take one soon, as that Baron buff really helping the push, of course, and we might see them finally being against the worst players. But yeah, Frostbite struggling, it seems a bit, to actually find the play that helps them win the game, or that helps them finish off the game, perhaps.
Yeah, that's the one issue when it comes to having such a short-ranged ADC compared to everyone else, where she has to really get face to face with the enemy, which puts her in quite a bad spot, and you don't really have much tools to keep her safe.
Yeah, indeed. I think it is mostly Vayne. It's sort of supposed to do it herself, but when she gets caught out, of course, this Vayne can very quickly be in trouble, as we see X100 going in lengthy and still right on Zhao. Vayne has to get out. It's now Shurima's. It was great, but the shockwave,
what a fantastic ultimate!
Frostbite just finally get the fight. They just waited long enough for MonkeSports to go in for once. The catch of X100 was excellent, but Shockwave just completely destroyed MonkeSports. Also showing why this pick is so strong, showing why it needs to be banned in every game from now on for the rest of this season. As Frostbite, it took them a bit longer than last game, but they will win the second game and win 2-0.
An excellent ult from Jarvan, an excellent ult from Orianna completely turns that fight around. If that was on even footing, I do feel like Monkey Esports would have won that fight, but just because of the HP bars that Frostbite had, they just couldn't do much of anything. There was another great Shurima shuffle from Neofire. Like, the first game it was Scarface who showed promise. Now it was Neofire this game showing a lot of promise. Monkey Esports do have the means to win. They just really need to get better with that early game.
Yes, indeed. I think both players really showed up, and MonkeSports, indeed, I think is exciting to see what they can really show as promise. Perhaps they can be the team this season that really has to grow into the season, that kind of has to realize how to play as a team a bit more, and perhaps get to the point where they are really strong towards the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
As we are going over toward an interview, we are going to have Cliff, or Mr. In/Inting Jungler, how we have been calling him consistently during the stream, as well as Deadly Ghost, the jungler who has been enjoying some aggressive plays on the Jarvan, as I think they are just about ready to join. We are still waiting. Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Deadly Ghost.
Hello.
First off. Welcome. Congratulations, and perhaps a first question: how did you prepare for this first game? How were you making sure that you could come out to the game swinging like this?
As we scrimmed this team last week, so we had some knowledge of how we thought the game was going to go, and I think we just really played to our own strengths more than anything. We focused on what we were good at, as opposed to trying to pick any counters or, stop them from doing what they were good at. We just focused on our own game.
Yeah, echoing what Cliff said, we kind of had a couple of comfort picks that we went for, and we really just because we got together very recently, we just wanted to focus on playing solid League of Legends.
All right.
And yeah, that is exactly what you showed. There were some small little scuffs in that second game, but
We don't talk about the dragon.
those things happen. No team is ever
Mhm.
going to play perfect.
Mm.
But there was a point I brought up as we were casting that second game. Frostbite teams, normally during the group stage, are very dominant, but they fall off in playoffs. How are you going to make it so that you keep this momentum going forward, not only into other group stage games, but also into playoffs and potentially also into the finals as well?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been subject to the Frostbite playoff curse myself last split, so I don't know. I think the key is just, I think, making sure that we remain focused, and not letting us get too into ourselves. If we start smashing everyone, we just need to make sure that we keep our heads down, keep our heads controlled, focus on what we're good at, and just play to our strengths instead of just being like, oh, we don't need to worry, we can just do whatever the fuck we want, it's fine.
That might have been the reason for that last split, not your team specifically, but a Frostbite team.
I mean, we won't talk about what happened to my team.
Now you specifically, Cliff. Urgot. You're on top lane, you're slapping the Cho'Gath about, you see two other enemy champions coming towards you. Thought process. What are you thinking in that time?
I'm thinking, if you're 3v1ing Urgot, you have to come at the same time.
Which
If
they
you
didn't
come,
do.
if you come one at a time, Urgot just runs you down. It doesn't matter. And the champion's busted right now.
And you very clearly showed that.
It's ridiculous. That triple kill topside. Well, I guess it didn't count as a triple, which is very sad. But I'm gonna count it as
Unofficial
a
triple,
kill.
we'll say.
It was very strange. The Cho'Gath died basically immediately. He died as the Wukong arrived, and then Wukong ran away and then came back before Silas arrived. It just kind of felt like they walked into me one after the other. I'll watch it back, but it really felt like they just shouldn't have come to me.
Yeah, I was literally walking towards top lane if you go back on the VOD, and I'm like, oh, I'm coming, Cliff, I'm coming, and then I see he's killing all three of them, and I'm just like, oh, okay then, guess I'll just continue doing my thing.
Yeah, lovely stuff.
It's camp death.
Right. Yes. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. A very good game. For the rest, yeah. And one thing I want to ask is after the first game, we already saw a message that you were asking who to interview. How are you so certain that after this first game you were going to win the second game?
I mean, we won the first game in 22 minutes, right?
Yes, 22 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've only ever won a VL game faster than that once, so it was pretty certain at that point. I think up and down the board we have better skilled players, and then we also have a lot of experience, especially like VL related experience on our side with both myself and with Tawi. So I think we're the kind of team that if we get a lead, we know what to do with the lead. Get a little bit hyphy sometimes, but it's understandable. But we're just very good at closing the leads out, and I had faith that everybody was just going to win their lane again. The only thing that worried me, game 2, was the Vayne pick, but we let Tawi cook, so...
Yeah, I mean, it did pay off in the early parts, especially.
Yeah, especially because it's a Caitlyn Zerat lane, so I decided, even while we were still in Champ Select, as I saw the Vayne and then the Caitlyn Zerat, I said, okay, I'm starting top side. I want to get to level 3, level 4 in bot lane, maybe to cover for a gank, because I was afraid they were going to push in and try to dive the Vayne. But it just turned out that we got a free gank, we got some kills for Tawi, and then he just got the ball rolling and never dropped it.
So yeah, I think it definitely was nice. Then perhaps looking forward after this game, what are some things that you're taking away, perhaps that you want to improve on? Because I mean, you had a really nice and clean win, but what were some things that you think you could have done, you could do better going into the rest of the season?
I think our bot side needs to learn that they need minions when they want to dive. That was a bit of an awkward dive on the in mid lane in game 1.
I would include the jungler in there as well.
Yeah, the whole bot side, all 3 of you.
Listen, but on the dive at the turret at tier 3 turret in top lane in that last fight, we also had 0 minions. So it turns out Frostbite's biggest enemies in VL are minion waves.
Yeah, we can't wait. We don't want to wait. But no, takeaways going forward, I think
More
we feel-
patience, I assume.
we feel patience for sure, yeah, in games, especially when we're ahead. We just need to dial it back a little bit. I think in both of those games, it got to a point where we just needed to wait for the objectives to come, and we couldn't be contested at them. And we took Dragon on spawn in game 2. So, not Dragon, sorry, Baron on spawn in game 2, and then immediately ended the game afterwards. I think we can get these leads early in lane because we have strong laners, and then we just need to, sort of standard League of Legends it out, take towers, be patient, slowly press our advantage, and not do anything stupid. And honestly, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I do feel like a lot of teams sort of have the idea of, oh, we're ahead, we've got to do something with it.
Yeah, 100%. We just need to be more controlled.
Yeah. Well, I don't have any more questions.
No, I think I am done too. So then I think this is the point where we have to thank you guys for the nice games. Of course, you were able to be done very quickly, so it's a bit sad that we didn't get much more of the great gameplay. But
Sorry,
we will
guys.
see. Hopefully see a lot more of it for the rest of the season. And yeah, I guess we have to wish you good luck, and hopefully we'll see you again.
Thank you.
Guys,
Frostbite Titans, technically speaking, on 2 wins.
True.
Yeah, technically yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wish you good luck, and I'll see you next time.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you, guys.